Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Batocera Nation. So delighted that you could join us today. Today, we're going to revisit and redo the Xemu Xbox tutorial. In fact, among all the emulators found in Batocera, this is the one that people have struggled with the most. The good news is there's a much easier and more successful way to accomplish our emulation goals for Xemu. So it was in June of 2021 when I created my original Xemu tutorial. Back then we looked at a two-step process to create ISO files that can be used and read in the Xemu emulator. Not only was it complicated, but it even involved typing DOS commands. What's more, sometimes the ISO files did not work in Xemu. Fortunately, due to one of my subscribers, I found a much easier method. This method not only works for Xemu running in Batocera, but it also works for Xemu running in Windows. So let's do it. Alright, so let's go into my folder right here. You can see here I've got 5 test files. Okay, you also can see these are all uncompressed. If they're at least 7 gigabytes or more, they tend to be uncompressed. But all these files have to be compressed for them to work in the Xemu emulator. Alright, so we have here the original file that we used back then in June of 2021. And we're still going to use this as the backup. You're going to find this on our website in our download section. We're also going to use this one right here, XDVDMulleter Beta version 10.2. This is something that a subscriber pointed out to me back last year. And I also will be providing a link in my download section on our website at BatoCeraNation.com. So let's go ahead and check it out. Okay, so there's the file we got to click on. Go ahead and click on that. Go ahead and move this to the center. You can ignore this or here altogether. So this is the menu. Okay, what we need to do is go ahead and select the second one, build and rebuild in ISO. So go ahead and select next, and from there we have these options right here. Make sure it's selected to load from a file, and then click on browse. And from there we want to go ahead and select the one we want. So let's try this one here, Deadly Skies. Open it. And then from there select next, and from there go ahead and select the third option, create standard ISO Xbox One, right? And then from there select next. This right here is going to be automatically populated. This will tell you which region this game will work. In this case, Europe and Australia. If you see one that says China or Japan, and you don't want that, then you know you're not going to work with that one, or you can just go ahead and delete that file altogether. Alright, let's go ahead and select next. From there, we want to go here, the middle section right here. Optimize for this size. We want to choose small as possible. And then select next. Once that's done, go ahead and select make ISO. And then we'll create a file automatically right there. We're going to leave it there for the time being. Save it. And then it will do its thing. Usually it does not take that much time. Look at that. Few seconds, it's done. Now if you want to test it, and I highly encourage you to test it before you use it in Batocera, go ahead and test it in the Xemu emulator within Windows. Alright, so there's my Xemu emulator in Windows. I've got all these files that's found in Batocera 33 BIOS files. Go ahead and double click on that. Alright, go to machine, go to load disk. We want the one we just created to test it out, make sure it works out well. If it doesn't load up, just go in machine, reset. And there you go. Now we know it works. Okay? Alright, let's go back to our original location of the files where they're located. You can see there a dramatic decrease in size. It went from 7.2 gigabyte to 2.59 gigabyte. All right, dramatic decrease in size. All right, so those are the easy ones. Unfortunately, not all cases are going to be easy. In fact, I would say when I did this again, that about 80% of the games that I found, which were uncompressed, worked. 20%, no matter what I did not work. So you're not going to have a success rate of 100%. And I suspect that some of these files originally when they were created, something is wrong, that it has a hard time trying to extract the files and compress them. So again, expect that it will not work in all cases. All right, so let's go now to the more complicated cases. Let's go back to this software right here. Go to next. Go ahead, choose build, rebuild again. And this time browse. And this time we want to choose Midnight Club 3. This is the one that gave me a hard time. All right, load ISO from disk. Same thing. Next. Create standard ISO. Next. Here. Notice here now we have a little error message. Would you like to cross-link? I would say no. Just go ahead and select no. Now it's telling me that this ISO file is just too big, and I need to lose approximately 133 megabytes. All right? And it won't let me proceed any further. If I do this, it won't let me do anything at all. I can't choose next. Okay? So here's where this one goes back to being useful again. So let's go ahead and take that same file, which is giving me a hard time, drag it to the extract-xiso, right, and then let it do its thing. I'll go ahead and fast forward this section. Nope, it's done. You can see that there's a file. All right, there's a folder. And again, it's telling me that it needs to delete some files. So let's see what we can delete from this folder. Let's go to resource. Let's go to video tutorial. We got a tutorial here. It's got all these files. So let's go ahead and delete that tutorial. Delete all that. Okay, now it's much smaller. All right. Let's go back to XDVDMulleter. And go ahead and double click on that again. All right. Go to build, rebuild, and ISO. So from this option we need to change. We no longer have an ISO file. We have it, it's uncompressed. So we need to go to load local folder. Okay. It says which folder? Go once again right here. Uncompressed. And I want to go into this one here, the folder we just uncompressed. All right. So it's there. I found it. Go to next. We're going to go back to create standard ISO, Xbox One. Next. It tells me it's found. It tells me the region you can play this game: Australia, Europe. Next. Once again, we want to go over here. Optimize for disk size. We want to choose small as possible. And make ISO. Put it right there. Save. And then let it do its thing. Shouldn't take that long. Right? Nice and easy. Let's go ahead and minimize this. Let's go ahead and select next and then minimize it. Let's go test it out once again to make sure it works. Load up Xbox. Go to machine. Load disk. We want to go to, right there is Midnight Club 3. Open it. On this one, it does take some time for it to load up. So be patient while it's loading up. But it will load up, I guarantee you. And there it goes. All right, so it's working. Go ahead and close this out. All right, let's go back in there. Let's go to the next one. Build, rebuild, ISO. Let's go to load from file, ISO. On the next one. Ninja Gating USA. All right, open that one up. And go to next. Create standard ISO. Next. Once again, I get this error message. So select no. It's telling me now that it's about 1,543 megabytes too big. So we got to try to lose some files. So go ahead and select cancel. Let's go check it out. All right, let's go back over here. And let's take that file. Let's drag it to extract right there. And then let it do its thing as well. All right, so there it is. Let's see what we can delete from this. Let's go to media, movies. All right, so in this case right here, there's a bunch of movies here, okay? I notice here, this requires a little detective work. I notice here They got some of them that says J. So I suspect those are the Japanese movies, okay? I don't need those. So let's go ahead and delete those. All the ones with a J. Of course, if it's Japanese, you want to keep those and delete the other ones. And I deleted those. It's about, let's see how many files those will include. It's about 1.6 gigabyte. That's how much I need. We're good. Let's go ahead and delete those. So now all I've got is the English version of those movies. Now we can try it again. So let's go back over here. And let's go back to the software and double click on that and try it again. Build, rebuild, and ISO. We want to load from local folder. Select browse. Okay, select my folder right here, uncompress. Go into Ninja Gaiden USA. Hit OK. Next. Create standard ISO. Next. Tell me you got from China, Japan, USA, Asia. All right. Select next. We want to select this one right here. Optimize for this size. We want to choose small as possible again. Next. And then let it do its thing. Put it there in the same folder. All right, it's done. Let's go ahead and minimize that. Let's go ahead and try it on Xbox emulator. Load it up. Open. And there it is. This one loaded up really quickly. Look at that. It works. All right. That's done. Now let's go back in there. Let's go back to the software. And let's try another one. File, ISO, browse. All right, we got that one done. Let's go to the next one, Ninja Gaiden Black. Next. Create standard. Once again, this one's a little too big. Say no. Some means by also 1.5 gigabyte or so. So I'll go ahead and cancel. All right, let's go back over here and take the file. Right. All right, let's go ahead. There it is. Drag it to the extract file and let it do its thing. All right, it's done. Let's go ahead and check out the file. And what do we got here? Let's go back to movies. All right, you can see here we still got a number of Japanese movies here. We want to go ahead and delete those. And select them. All right. Altogether, you know what? It's not going to be enough. It's less than 1 gigabyte. We need more. But let's go ahead and delete those. And I also decided to do a little bit more detective work. And notice this one here. This one takes quite a bit of room. So what I decided to do was go ahead and take this one here, one of the smaller ones. I created a duplicate file. I pasted it. Renamed this one. DOA 4. All right, and then go ahead and delete that one. Delete the original one, and then go ahead and rename this one. And that's it. Now, unfortunately, of course, whatever file this is, whatever movie file was, you're not going to be able to see it in its entirety. But it still allows you to play the game, which is the main thing we want. All right. And once we can do that, let's go back here. Double click on that again. Build, rebuild ISO. Folder. Go back to the uncompressed folder right here. And we want black. And then next, create standard ISO. Next. Now some of USA. Next. Second one right there. Small as possible. Next. Make ISO. Save it. And let it do its thing. And it's done. Go ahead and minimize this. Let's go ahead and go into the Xemu emulator. Try it out. Make sure it's working. And there it is. Just go ahead and open it up. And it works. There it is, black. All right, we got it to work. Close that out. All right, let's do the next one. Next, go back to File, ISO, Browse. And we got our last one right here. Star Wars Jedi Starfighter. Open it up. Automatically give me an error message. ISO loading failed. All right. Close that out. All right, let's go back to our folder and select the file, drag it to extract. All right, go back to our folder right here, our file right here. Select it. Try it again. Build, rebuild. From the folder. All right, from that uncompressed folder right here. Star Wars. And next, create standard ISO. USA. Next. Optimize. Small as possible. Next. Make ISO. Okay, create there. Save right there. Same spot. Try it out. All right, it's done. Let's go ahead and close it out. Go ahead and put up the Xemu emulator. Try it out. And there it is. Try it out. And voila, it works. Huh? Awesome. All right, so we got it done. And that was so much easier than before. Don't you agree? But bear in mind, again, that not all the games you try this method is going to work. In my case, about 20% of the games that I try using this method did not work, no matter what I did. So you're not going to have a 100% success rate. So just bear that in mind as you try this method. All right, so let's go ahead and load up Batocera and let's try everything out. All right, so we're in Batocera. Let's go ahead and press F1. Let's go to our games folder. And of course, you copy your games on the Xbox folder right there. Okay. Here are my new games right there. You can see it's all there. Okay. And then File, close window, spacebar or the game start, game settings, update games list, and I already got them scraped. There's number 1, there's number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. Okay. Let's go ahead and press select on your gamepad. Let's set up the options here, advanced system options. This will control the settings for all the games. I've got this set to auto. Decorations I have set to default. So you have some bezels there. Or if you want to get rid of the bezels, just select none. And then choose widescreen, and you can play these games on 16:9. All right. But I like it set to default, kind of like the bezels. Scaling mode. We'll leave it auto. Again, if you choose none for decoration, then you choose widescreen or stretch, and that'll put it to 16:9 or so. Rendering resolution. This would depend upon your PC system. The better your PC system, the higher you can bring it up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring it to 2x for the time being. Running this on a Ryzen 4800U chip. Show BIOS boot logo. That's optional. You can either show it or skip it. I like skip because it'll boot up the games a lot faster. And then, of course, this will show your performance display. Of course, leave it auto or none. But for this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and put it in performance. You can see how well it performs. And that's it. So it turns out all the new games that I just copied, all of them load well without any problems. The only game that takes a while for it to load up is this one. In fact, it looks like it's frozen, but just give it a few seconds or so before it loads up. Alright, so I'm not going to go through all the games, but let's just go ahead and show you some gameplay. So Star Wars Jedi Starfighter.
Good job, Retty.
Yeah? Hey, you need a new Padawan? More fighters!
This is a beautiful sight, Retty.
Yeah, well, this is where I meet all my Jedi contacts. The Great Federation has been on us like this for months. Good shot! Sid's gonna be impressed with you. I hope. These engines still need an overhaul. These guys ain't kidding around.
More starfighters?
Alright, you can see that it works quite well without any trouble. Now let's try a game where I deleted the video files to see if we have any problems. Let's try this one. You can see that it works quite well without any trouble whatsoever. So hopefully this tutorial helps some of you who are having trouble converting your uncompressed Xbox files to the correct compressed format so that they will successfully run in Xemu. Before we wrap everything up, I want to point out that the 2 important downloads mentioned in the tutorial is found on our website, BOOTLOGO.com. Click on the download section, and that will take you to this page. You scroll down a little bit, and there you see right downloads for Xbox emulation. And those are the 2 important files that you will need. The only other important file that you also will need are the BIOS files found in Batocera 33 or 32. If you've done it already with 32, then you're okay. But if you have not, this is your first time using Batocera, then I highly encourage you to download the BIOS files for Batocera 33. Otherwise, you will not be able to get Xbox emulation working. All right? So make sure you download all these files. And finally, I highly encourage you to check out XMU's website to determine which games are compatible with the emulator, because not all the games that you find are going to be compatible with the emulator. In fact, I discovered that Midnight Club 3 Double Edition is not compatible just yet with the emulator. It tells me, in fact, that it does display the intro sequence, but it fails to make it to the gameplay. Okay, so check out that website, and it will be providing links in my video description. Okay. Well, that's a wrap. If you found this video useful, please go ahead and like it. That would really help me out with YouTube's algorithms. If this is your first time watching a video from Batocera Nation, then I highly encourage you to check out our YouTube channel, as well as our website at BatoCeraNation.com. That will give you a great overview of what Batocera is all about and whether this will meet your emulating needs. Finally, I want you to know I've got a lot more videos coming up, so therefore please consider subscribing so that you'll stay on top of the latest and greatest of Batocera. As a matter of fact, next time I will be covering how to set up discrete graphic cards for those of you who are having trouble with your NVIDIA cards. I believe that I might have a solution. Thereafter, I plan to do a follow-up Steam tutorial since I found a nice little trick to increase the number of window games that will successfully play in the Steam version of Batocera. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time on Batocera Nation. Bye.